Welcome to another Memphis Monday. Today this is part 2 of fixing these chairs. You can see they're already fixed. I just wanted to give you some assurance that the job is actually going to be done. And if you want to see how I did it, stick around because that's what we're going to do next. Once we knock off the chatter. This is our piece. Carefully laid it up around the mold. I added 5 clamps to add more clamping pressure to the radius. Let's take this thing apart. I made up some new molds. This mold here we made for the prototypes wasn't wide enough. You see it didn't clamp the entire back slat. So I made some wider molds that are the same width as the back slats. Here's 2 back slats curing over on the floor. And I got another one here curing on the workbench. Let's go take a look at a sample. Here's a sample back slat here, made out of white oak. Very beefy, very strong. Building the new back is really only half the job. The other half of the job is fixing this back and reinstalling it. And it's complicated by the fact that the failure point on the thing was the ends right here broke off. So I'm going to have to grind this up and shorten the back. But the complication is that these slats, they are sized up at the top here by simply making this part varying lengths, and these are very well installed. They won't just pop out. They got brads in them, and they're glued. Here's the replacement back. Let me show you something interesting on it. It's somewhat obscured here through the varnish of the piece, but you can see that this thing was created the same way we created this. That looks like they used much thinner, looks like about 1 millimeter or 2 millimeter thick strips, and I used 1/8 inch or 1/16 inch, but you can see that it's layered in the same way. I'm using a dovetail saw to cut these off. This is about as much courage as I think I can muster. So I haven't got it glued up yet, but this is the chair that had the back, and the chair back was broken right here at this joint, both places. I didn't show it because I didn't show putting it back together because all I had to do was just file down the ends here and stick it back in the thing. The reason I put this thing together is because I have to use this as a model to put the holes in the back that we're making. So that'll be the next thing, is drilling those holes. While I was putting that together, I got 3 more back slats out of the mold, so I need to file these down. And I got the other back slats glued up. They should be ready in a few hours. making 7 of these back slats. I only need 6, but I've got to assume I'm going to make an error or two. Cut something too short, whatever. Well, the back slats are coming out real good. It's kind of tedious. Let me go ahead and finish sanding them, and we'll see what they look like. Well, I got the back slats sanded up. Now it's time to figure out how to install that back rail. First thing I got to do is drill a couple of holes on the bottom. Let's go over and take a look at that. Okay, here I have the seat. I took the seat off the legs. The failure mode for this seat back here is that it snaps off right here at the bottom. Even though this part, the back, is 1 inch square, it narrows down to 3/4 of an inch into that hole. Let me show you on the real piece. On the original, this narrowed down to 3/4 of an inch. I don't know if you can see that. So that's a 3/4 inch Forstner bit. But there is room. Here's a full inch Forstner bit. Since this thing's 1 inch square, if I can get 1 inch hole in the seat, let me show you. So if I can get 1 inch hole into this seat right here, now it's an angle, it's a compound angle actually, just like that, then I can make that through hole, that through mortise there, a lot beefier than it once was before. Now this is going to take some thought. Let's go over to the drill press. When we built this anvil table, I showed you a trick on how to cut those compound angles. Since those legs there are slanted in two directions, you have a compound angle right up here. And I showed you how to do that. I told you it might come up again, and it just did. Okay, we have that same issue with this seat here. Here's a practice piece. You can see that if I put this in here, this back is not only leaning backwards, but it also is put in at an angle like this. So that is a compound hole. Let me show you down in there. So you can see that not only does this hole lean back about 20 degrees, but it also goes in at an angle like this. Okay, now you can also see this line that I've put here. And this is where the anvil lesson comes in. If I line up my drill press on this, on one of the two angles that I have to cut, then it will automatically make this compound angle. So I need to line my drill press up on this axis right here, which is the axis for one of the two compound angles. Let's go look at it on the drill press. Okay, here you can see I have the drill press angled at 20 degrees. But up here on top, I have the piece lined up with the angle of that second cut lined up tangential to the angle of the drill press. Let's see if it works. So here you can see I've made the compound mortise here, and you can even see this axis mark out here. By lining up this axis here with this axis here, that hole now goes in at a compound angle, even though I only cut one angle. Let's get brave and try it on the piece. Here we go. Those holes came out perfect, so we got that going for us. So I put those, stuck that back brace in place, and I've tie-tied the back slats to a position where I want the holes for the back slats. Those holes are angled. Let's look at the sample. You can really see it here on the sample. You can see where the angled piece goes in level with the bottom here. Then it makes the S curve, and then it joins the back brace in the center of the brace, but it looks like at about a 5-degree angle. Now I can really see it here on the workpiece. See how those braces are angled? So it looks like the holes for those will enter from about the center of the back brace and angle forward towards the front at about 5 degrees. Now that I've got the holes put in there, I can finish shaping the back brace here. I neglected shaping it and sanding it because just in case I needed some square surfaces here to work off of. I got those holes you saw me drilling. They seem to work just fine. I cut the back slats to size, poked them in the holes, and everything seems to be groovy so far. So I guess we need to start nailing this thing together. Since I had this thing fitted, I went ahead and put some glue on everything. Now I'm making sure everything's stuck together. The sample had little brads going into the going into the bottom of these things. So I'm going to do that. Here I've created a little wedge slice at the end of my mortise here, and I'm going to try to drive a wedge in there. The danger is that when I try to drive this, it may tend to push the leg out, so I got to kind of hold that. Additionally, each one of the legs have looks like a drywall screw drilled in. Right there, so I'm going to try to duplicate that. Well, there's a little chair. I put the legs on it, and basically all I got to do on that, what I have left to do on that is a little sanding and staining. Okay, but remember the job was to fix both chairs. Now I need to take this other wrecked chair here and sand it down and assemble it. Another job for my small workbench. I need to sand this thing down. If I put it on my workbench, it's too high. If I put it on the floor, it's too low. And this is the kind of job I specifically designed this thing for. I'm sanding both of them down, and then I'll stain them the same color so that they'll look similar. Well, there's our new chairs, right on time. Let's let the glue dry a little bit, and we'll start thinking about putting some stain on them. Well, one last look on this chair here. All we had to do was we stripped the old finish off of it and recut the mortises and put it back together. On this one, the entire back was missing, so we invented several cold bending jigs, bent all the wood, and then once we got all the parts made, we basically just made a mirror image of the other one. Well, we're back where we started. We got both chairs fixed. We completely rebuilt this one, made a whole new back. That one back there, we just overhauled it. Anyway, I think we got our money's worth today, and sorry it was two parts, but we had to make so many jigs and all the calculations and everything. Two parts was necessary. But anyway, make sure you like and tweet and Facebook and all that stuff, and more than anything, be back here next week for another exciting Memphis Monday. Thanks for watching.